episode of Literary Recipes with Lily Library. Today we're bringing back an old favorite, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and we're going to be making Beorn's honey cakes today. Now Beorn in the book is known as a skin changer who can change his appearance from a man to a bear. In the book, he encounters the company of dwarves, including Bilbo and Gandalf, at his home, and he gives them these honey cakes for their journey to the Lonley Mountain. These honey cakes are made with honey, and they're twice baked, which means that they're a little crispy on the outside, but they're nice and soft on the inside. And it also means that for the dwarves and the rest of the company, that they'll last them a good long time on their journey. You're going to start by mixing your dry ingredients together, which I have already done, and you're going to mix them together with a whisk. Your dry ingredients include 1 3/4 cups of flour, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and the zest of 1 lemon. You're going to mix that all together in a medium-sized bowl. Next, we're going to use our 1 stick of room temperature butter and add it into our dry mixture. And just like we did with Bilbo's scones, we're going to mix it together with our hands until you get kind of a sandy texture. Next, we're going to mix our wet ingredients together, which includes a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 3/4 cup of milk, and 3/4 cup of honey. But first, I'm going to whisk our eggs and milk and vanilla together. And here goes our honey. Now we're going to incorporate those together, and this will probably take a little bit of time because of how thick the honey is, so just be patient as you're mixing. I forgot to mention that before you start, you should get your 12-cup muffin tin and make sure you very liberally grease each tin with softened butter. This is not the place to skimp on the butter because these little muffins or honey cakes are going to have to eventually come out of here. So the more butter, the better, because that'll help you get them out. Now we're going to pour our wet mixture over our dry mixture and stir it until it's just combined. We really don't want to overmix this batter. Next, after that, you will spoon your batter into your muffin tins that have been well greased with butter. Each muffin tin will be able to hold 1/4 to 1/3 cup of batter, and you could even use an ice cream scoop to scoop your batter into the tin. That will make sure that you get the same amount in every one. Now that we've filled our muffin tins with our honey cake batter, we're going to put them in our preheated oven for 16 minutes or until they look about done but they're not quite golden enough. Okay, our honey cakes are out of the oven. I ended up giving them 4 extra minutes because when I tapped the center, it wasn't firm yet. So now we're going to flip our muffin tin onto a baking sheet that's lined with parchment paper and just cross all our fingers that our honey cakes come out of the tin. So by some miracle, our honey cakes actually came out perfectly, and I think it's probably the miracle of butter. Next, what we need to do is take a little more honey, about 1/4 of a cup, and microwave it for 10 seconds so it's a little looser. And then we're going to use a little silicone brush and brush more honey over the tops of our honey cakes. Now that I've put all of the remaining honey on top of the honey cakes and on the sides, and made sure to get some around the sides too, we have to wait for 5 minutes and allow that honey to really soak into the honey cakes before we pop them back in the oven. Episode of Literary Recipes with Lily Library, where we made Beorn's honey cakes from The Hobbit. I really hope you make these. They're so good. I think they'd be perfect with a cup of tea in the afternoon, maybe even with a scone if you're feeling extra hungry. I ate mine fresh out of the oven when it was so warm, and it was definitely worth it. So I highly recommend. If you would like to make these, we'd love to see your pictures. Tag us on Instagram or send them to us on Facebook. You'll find the recipe in the description box of this video and also on our Facebook page. Thanks for watching. See you next time.